Alright, hello fun and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Pipe Carbine mod, which is being released by user Spady01. And what this glorious little piece of work looks at into the game is an actually useful pipe weapon in the form of the Pipe Carbine, a Raider's service rifle. And I quite like this mod. I'm not normally the biggest fan of AR mods, though service rifle mods can sometimes do it for me, and I love that the mod maker seems to have kind of that same opinion, and that there's just so many of those kinds of mods that they wanted to make an alternative to it that was more early game with lower requirements, but of course, being a pipe weapon, a bit subpar performance, but still with plenty of destructive firepower, and thus, the Pipe Carbine, which I find myself very much loving. So let's jump on over here and have a look at what exactly we are getting with the Pipe Carbine, which in its most basic and standard form will actually do 25 damage, not too bad there, with a 223 round, with a firing rate of 40, range of 119, accuracy of 61, and a weight of 8.6. All in all, not too bad. A little bit heavy, but as you can see here, it's because it's, well, kind of a lot of gun, despite still being a pistol at this moment. And I just really love the look of this thing. It definitely looks the part for, like, you know, the New Vegas service rifle, but one that's made from scrap, or at least poorly machined parts, in sort of the vein of a Fallout 4 pipe rifle. And I very much do like that. It's kind of a neat, junky weapon that still does it still has some power behind it. That's my biggest complaint and why I generally don't like pipe weapons in Fallout 4. They're all just so sad and weak, and there doesn't seem to be much point to them when pre-war guns are so easy to find. But this one actually still packs a good bit of punch to it. And of course, with all the different modifications we do have for this thing, 56 different attachments in total, you can help up the power to this thing to make it more useful into, I'd say, the mid-game. I don't think I'd call this thing a late-game weapon, but it'll certainly, you know, keep its usefulness into the mid-game for sure. And with the right perks, you know, you may be able to eke a little bit more out of it. Now, as for how to get your hands on one of these lovely things, well, first and foremost, there is a mod requirement. Due to the 223 ammunition this thing uses, you are going to need the munitions mod. But with that installed, you'll start seeing these things spawning in the world at level 8, anywhere that you would normally see a pipe weapon. So, I mean, pretty much the entirety of the Commonwealth. Starting at level 8, not too shabby there. And there is also one unique version out in the world for you to find, which is actually a pretty nifty one. I normally don't show the unique weapons on here, and I won't be for today either, but this one's really fun because it's like a pipe carbine, but also mixed with a nail gun. It's pretty nifty. But with all that out of the way, let's take a look at what modifications we do have available for these weapons. Starting, of course, with the receiver category, where we've got the pretty typical stuff here. But the main thing is, of course, we can go between semi-automatic and automatic receivers to, you know, fire however you would like to fire, which is always good to see. And we can get a max with the automatics of 31 damage here and 37 for the semi-auto damage. Well, prior to another modification, we'll get down towards the bottom of the list. Then the barrel category, we've got a good selection here from standard, assault, ported, heavy, recoil compensating, and marksman there. So all pretty good, very nice. I especially love on the heavy barrel that, like, the carry handle's just a screwdriver that's been bent. It's fun. I like it. Now then, in the grip category, we've got the standard pistol grip, but we can turn it into a rifle with the full stock, or a light stock, heavy stock, marksman stock, or a recoil compensating stock. All pretty nice there. Now, in the magazine category, we've got a standard, medium, and then quick eject versions of both of those. And then we get a little bit more interesting with a coffin and drum magazine, and also, of course, quick eject versions of those. So pretty nice. You can get a lot of bullets into this thing. And then in the sights category, we've actually got a pretty decent selection of stuff, from the standard to iron cut to a reflex sight, glow sight, short scope. We then have a night vision and recon version of the short, medium, and of course long scopes on here too. So, you know, a lot of nice variation. I do quite enjoy that. It's pretty fun. So a lot of good options there. Now in the muzzle category, we've got the pretty typical stuff of either nothing, a bayonet. We also have a weird triangular bayonet, compensator, muzzle brake, which is a cheese grater, which is okay, and finally an oil can suppressor, you know, keeping with that pipe carbine sort of feel there. It's a weird one, but hey, it works. And then after the muzzle category, the final thing we do have is the ammo, where we can either change it from the standard 223 to a 5.56 conversion, which will add 2 points of damage. That's it. No matter which of the receivers you go with, it's always going to be a +2 to damage, which, hey, adds up, especially for the automatic receiver. Switching over to 5.56 for that actually does mean a lot for, you know, 2 extra points of automatic weapon damage. But for the semi-auto, it's only really a minor increase. But all in all, though, still nice to have, especially if you have an excess of 5.56 rounds. And yeah, that's it for the modifications here. A lot of fun stuff that I do very much enjoy, and a lot of great options to help change it a bit more up to your particular style of play. So let me go grab my modified ones, which one of them I already have in my inventory, because I went with all heavy stuff for it, and that has made it so I cannot store that in a weapon rack anymore. That's why that is still here. But good times. But then I do have a sort of marksman style weapon here with it, so we'll grab that one. And of course start with the standard. And there we go. There's the Pipe Carbine in action. There we go. I swear I can speak. And overall, I quite like just the standard sights on this thing. They're pretty good. The iron cut ones are ever so slightly misaligned if you go with that other form of iron sights. But still, it's usable, though of course if you're changing up the sights, you're probably going to change it up to one of the more useful ones, like a reflex or something along those lines, so I don't think it's the biggest of deals. And overall, very easy to control gun, barely any recoil on this thing. Even when you go fully automatic, it's very, very easy to control. And as far as pipe rifles go, it's basically, in my opinion, the only useful one when you have this installed. Good times. Now let's go take a look at our fully automatic one here with the 223 rounds, dealing 31 damage, and yeah, kind of going full heavy on this thing. It looks actually pretty nice. I quite like it. It's a pretty fun one, and like I said before, I don't know why, but I really love that just bent screwdriver carry handle there, and of course, you know, just sort of the thrown together metal bipod from the looks of it there. Very fun. But yeah, let's fire that one. And of course with the drum magazine, we got 100 rounds in this baby. Fire! And as you can see, I barely moved the gun at all to keep that thing on target. We just shot 100 rounds. I'm pretty sure most, if not all, actually hit the target there, because there's just so little recoil on this thing. So it's very, very easy to keep this thing on your target. It is pretty great. I do love it. And then with our recon calibrated one here, went with a, I think, medium recon scope. I actually really do kind of like the look of the recon scope, because it is, you know, whatever size scopes, the short, medium, or long range one, but then with this extra sort of sensor up top, which is pretty nifty. I like that. It's a pretty good look for a pipe weapon. And we got the same bipod in here, but sort of like flipped back from what it was on the heavy machine gun version. Overall, it's actually a pretty interesting looking pipe weapon. I very much like it. And of course, it's silenced with an oil can. Lovely. And of course, again, very easy to keep on target. I think I only moved the mouse like once then during that entire scenario. There's just no recoil on this thing. It has a tiny little amount, but especially once you start getting modifications on these things to help reduce that tiny amount of recoil, it basically becomes non-existent, which is pretty cool. So let's use this thing in action against our usual friendly Deathclaw companion here. And... come back, please. There we go. Nope, I got a couple of good shots on him. But we're gonna have to switch to the automatic weapon, I believe. Because it's gonna take us a while to kill him with this. But yeah, actually, even for me, I was able to keep a lot of shots on him, despite my usual incompetence with aiming. At least in this game. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Couple of good shots. Couple of good shots. There we are. And run, 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 run. Beautiful. Okay, we'll switch over to the machine gun now that we've got him down half health. And, well, nearly half health. Die, Deathclaw! And yeah, again, just being able to keep on target with so little recoil with this thing. Oh, I thought he was going to continue running there for a moment. Okay, let's reload and then just fry him as he charges at us. Lovely. Hello, Deathclaw, die! And there we go. He barely made it at all towards us. Lovely. Lovely. As far as pipe weapons go, I'd have to say with this installed, it's definitely the best of them. Like I said earlier, I just never really cared for the pipe weapons because they just were so low in power when it's so easy to find pre-war guns in this game. It just never made sense why they were even here. But this one actually kind of does. It's more powerful than a typical pipe rifle, but not quite as good as a lot of the, you know, normal pre-war guns. I think it's a good middle ground for a, you know, jury-rigged, thrown-together pipe weapon of the apocalypse. I think it's pretty nifty. And, you know, as sort of a throw to the AR mods that are just so ubiquitous in the modding community, I like seeing one that's a little bit more, well, thrown together and scrappish. I think it's fun. So if you'd like to see a, well, if you'd like to look at this mod for yourself, which I'd certainly recommend you go and do, you can have a look at the link in the video as per usual. But that's gonna be it for this one today, my friends. Hopefully you all have enjoyed and you do come back for whatever mod we do take a gander at next. But until that time, thank you for watching, and as always, well, have a good one.